A pizza man, a bank robbery, and a live bomb locked around his neck. A camera found in a washing machine, containing the photos of a brutal murder. A tech CEO who promised to change the world. But her entire company was a lie. A millionaire, caught on a hot mic, muttering to himself. Killed them all, of course. 10 more jaw-dropping twists. Reopened from the dark docket. Case 1. Pamela Smart. In 1990, Pamela Smart was the image of the grieving widow. When her husband Greg was found murdered in their New Hampshire condo, she was pretty, polished, and seemingly heartbroken. But investigators soon learned that her grief was a performance. The truth unraveled fast. Pamela hadn't just known about the murder, she had orchestrated it. She had seduced her 15-year-old student, Billy Flynn. She manipulated the high schooler and his friends, convincing them to kill Greg so they could be together. The twist was staggering. The victim's wife wasn't mourning, she was the mastermind. Her case would become one of America's first sensational televised trials, turning a love affair into a pop culture obsession. Case 2. The Casey Anthony verdict. When 2-year-old Kaylee Anthony vanished, the nation watched as her mother, Casey, spun an unbelievable web of lies. She lied about babysitters, fake jobs, even imaginary people. Her bizarre behavior, like partying while her daughter was missing, made headlines. When Kaylee's remains were found near the family home, the evidence against Casey seemed overwhelming. Everyone expected a swift conviction. The trial was a media circus, but the conclusion seemed certain. And then, the twist. It wasn't in the evidence. It was in the verdict. The jury declared Casey Anthony not guilty of murder. The courtroom audibly gasped. Casey literally walked free, leaving America divided and asking one question: was justice served or denied? Case 3. The Manson Cult. In 1969, Hollywood's glittering hills became a living nightmare. Actress Sharon Tate and 6 others were slaughtered in their homes. The crime scenes were grotesque, the murders viciously brutal. The city was in a panic. But the real horror came when police found the mastermind, Charles Manson, a failed musician who had become a local cult leader. But here is the surreal twist. Manson never held the knife himself. He used charisma and LSD-fueled delusion to command his family of followers to kill for him. He believed the murders would ignite a twisted race war he called Helter Skelter. The case redefined evil, showing that the mastermind didn't even need to be at the scene of the crime. Case 4. Robert Durst. For decades, millionaire heir Robert Durst danced around suspicion. He was long accused of killing his wife, his best friend, and his neighbor. But he was a ghost, always one step ahead. Then came the HBO documentary, The Jinx. Throughout the series, Durst appeared calm, evasive, maybe even innocent. But in the final episode, he made a fatal error. Thinking he was off camera, he went to the bathroom, still wearing his microphone. He then muttered to himself, "What the hell did I do?" Killed them all, of course. It was a chilling, accidental confession. That hot mic moment was enough for police to look deeper, and it led directly to his conviction. Case 5. The Killer Cop. When nurse Sherri Rasmussen was murdered in 1986, police ruled it a burglary gone wrong. The case went cold for 2 decades. But there was one person lurking in the background, the husband's ex-girlfriend, Stephanie Lazarus. The twist? Lazarus was an LAPD officer. She was literally working just down the hall from the homicide division that was investigating Rasmussen's case. For years, she hid behind her badge. When DNA technology finally caught up in the mid-2000s, detectives ran a new test on the evidence. The results matched, stunning everyone. The killer was the cop. Evidence even suggests she tampered with the case file to mask her own involvement. Case 6. Jodi Arias. When Travis Alexander was found brutally attacked in his Arizona home, suspicion quickly turned to his ex-girlfriend, Jodi Arias. Arias admitted to killing him, but claimed it was a clear case of self-defense. It was her word against his. But then, detectives combing the house made a shocking discovery. A digital camera tossed into the washing machine. Against all odds, the memory card was salvaged. On it were the photos. Photos of Alexander in the shower, just moments before the attack, and photos of the graphic, bloody aftermath. The twist was photographic proof of guilt. The camera documented the crime, and her self-defense claim completely fell apart. Case 7. The Pizza Bomber. In 2003, a pizza delivery man named Brian Wells walked into a bank with a bomb strapped around his neck. Moments later, with police surrounding him, the device detonated, killing him live on camera. The case seemed to be a tragic, bizarre suicide by proxy. But the twist was far more complex. Police traced the bomb back to a bizarre conspiracy. Wells had allegedly been forced into the robbery by a woman named Marjorie Deal Armstrong. She had strapped the bomb to him, hoping to get $250,000. And the motive? She needed the money to hire a hitman to murder her own father for the inheritance. Case 8. Timothy McVeigh. On April 19, 1995, a bomb exploded under the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City, killing 167 people. It was the deadliest act of domestic terrorism in U.S. history. A massive manhunt began for the man responsible. But the twist is how he was caught. He wasn't found by complex intelligence networks. Just 90 minutes after the bombing, Timothy McVeigh was pulled over by a small-town highway patrol officer, Charlie Hanger, for driving without a license plate. He was then arrested for carrying an unregistered gun. At the time, Officer Hanger had no idea he had just arrested the most wanted man in America. Case 9. The Theranos Lie. With her black turtlenecks and fake deep voice, Elizabeth Holmes promised to revolutionize medicine. Her company, Theranos, was valued at billions. It claimed its machines could test for hundreds of diseases with just a single drop of blood. Investors and politicians hailed her as the next Steve Jobs. But then, the story came crashing down with a shocking twist. None of it worked. The machines gave false results. Holmes had faked her data, faked the demonstrations, and built an empire of innovation on nothing but lies. The tech genius was a fraud, and Theranos collapsed, wiping out hundreds of millions in investments. Case 10. The O.J. Simpson Trial. The United States stopped for the trial of the century. Former NFL star O.J. Simpson was accused of murdering his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ron Goldman. The evidence against him seemed overwhelming. His blood at the scene, the victim's blood in his truck, DNA matching him to the crime. For many, the trial was a foregone conclusion. But the defense, led by the Dream Team, created a new narrative. They focused on racial tensions and challenged the evidence. Then came the glove. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. The shocking twist was the verdict. Despite the mountain of evidence, the jury found O.J. Simpson not guilty.